Nova English Podcast.
From English Speaking Space. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Speaking English Space, where we help you speak better English in a fun and simple way.
Hey guys, I'm Sam, and honestly, today's topic is something I personally struggle with a lot.
And I'm Aish, and today we're talking about one small word that creates big problems in our lives.
Yes, one word that looks simple, but is actually very difficult to say.
And that word is no.
Aish, let me ask you something honestly. Have you ever said yes to something when you clearly knew you should say no?
Oh yes, many times. And the worst part is, I realize it immediately after saying yes.
Exactly! That instant regret hits you like, why did I just agree to that?
And then your brain starts overthinking everything and you feel stuck.
Let's take a very common example that everyone can relate to.
Yes, something that happens almost every weekend.
Your friend calls you and says, "Hey, let's go out tonight."
And even if you are tired, sleepy, and completely not in the mood.
You still say, "Yeah, sure, let's go."
And later you sit there thinking, I should have just said no.
And not just that, sometimes your bank balance is also not ready for that plan.
Yes, your wallet is like, please don't do this.
But still, we say yes and then we suffer later.
Emotionally, physically, and financially.
So the big question is, why do we keep doing this again and again?
The first reason is simple. We want people to like us and accept us.
Yes, we feel that if we say no, the other person might feel bad or judge us.
But in reality, saying no politely does not hurt anyone.
The second reason is fear, especially in office situations.
Yes, when your boss asks you to do something extra, it becomes very hard to refuse.
You feel like saying no might create a negative impression.
So instead of saying no, you say yes. And then you handle the stress later.
And the third reason is habit. Many people say yes automatically without even thinking.
It's like their brain is programmed to say yes to everything.
Someone asks, "Are you free tomorrow?" And you immediately say yes.
And then later you check your schedule and realize you are not free at all.
Now let's talk about what actually happens after you say yes.
First comes the immediate regret, which we all experience.
Then comes overthinking, where you start planning how to manage everything.
And finally comes suffering, where you are doing something you never wanted to do.
And inside your mind, you keep repeating, "I should have said no." Let's make this practical with some real-life situations.
Yes, because this is where people really struggle.
Imagine your boss says, "Can you finish this extra work today?"
And you already have a lot of work pending.
Still, you say, "Yes, sir, no problem," even though it is clearly a problem.
And then you stay late, feel tired, and get frustrated.
Now let's see the better way to handle this situation.
You can say, I'd love to help, but I'm currently working on something important.
And then add, "Can I take this up tomorrow?"
This way, you're being polite and professional at the same time.
Let's take another situation with friends.
Your friend says, let's go on a trip this weekend.
And your heart says no, but your mouth says yes.
And your bank account says, absolutely no.
So a better response would be, "That sounds fun, but I'll skip this time."
And you can add, let's plan something next month.
Now let's talk about favors, which are even more difficult to refuse.
Yes, like when someone asks you to help them shift their house.
And you know it's going to take your entire day.
Still you say yes. And next day you are lifting furniture and questioning your life.
Instead, you can say, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to help this time."
Simple, honest, and no back pain.
Now let's learn a simple formula to say no politely.
Yes, this will make things very easy for you.
The formula is appreciate, decline, and optional alternative.
For example, I'd love to help, but I can't do it today.
And you can add, maybe next time.
This sounds polite and respectful.
Now let's quickly talk about some common mistakes.
The first mistake is saying yes immediately without thinking.
Instead, you should take a pause and say, Let me think about it.
The second mistake is giving too many excuses.
Yes, you don't need to explain your entire life story.
Keep your response short and clear.
The third mistake is feeling guilty after saying no.
And this is very important to understand.
Saying no does not make you a bad person.
It means you respect your time and your priorities.
So remember this one thing very clearly.
Your time is your life and you should protect it.
If you say yes to everything, you will lose control of your life.
So start practicing saying no in small situations.
And slowly you will become more confident. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful,
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
and let us know in the comments.
In which situation do you find it hardest to say no?
See you in the next episode. Until then,
Keep learning, keep growing. Bye-bye.